Okay, so hi everyone. I welcome you all to this session on Android Study Jam. So I'm Abhishek Shaw, the Developer Student Club lead from Calcutta Institute of Engineering and Management. And let me tell you guys that today's session is gonna be an awesome one as it's a collaboration between two DSC chapters. The one is the Developer Student Club CIM, the Calcutta Institute of Engineering and Management, and the other is the Developer Student Club Rajasthan Institute of Technology. So both of the facilitators are here, so they will take the session and will clear all your doubts. So let's not waste any time, and I would straight away invite Pradyumna Dave, who's the Android facilitator from RIT, that is the Rajasthan Institute of Technology. So, Pradyumn,
Thank you,
over to
Abhishek.
you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Abhishek. Hello, everyone. As Abhishek already told you, this session is in collaboration with DSC CIEM and DSC RTU. And a brief intro about me: I am Pradyum Dave, and I am from Rajasthan Technical University, Kota. I am also the co-lead at DSC RTU, and I'm the also the facilitator for Android Study Jams. So I'm really excited and honored to be the host for today's event. And before getting started, I'll give you an overview of today's event. Firstly, Snehashis will walk us through the Android Studio, and then we will directly get into the building apps. So, if there are any queries from your side between the event, then you can write it up in the live chat and we'll answer it. Over to you, Snehashis. Let's start.
Okay, thanks, Pradyum. So, hi guys. There are a lot of highs today. So, let's see. So, we have Android Studio today to begin with.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are having a nice day. And let's start. So, Abhishek, are you sharing my screen? Okay, thanks. Sorry. Okay. So, when you first start up Android Studio, you will see this screen pop up. And here you will have your list of recently opened projects. I have some over here, and you will have your create new project. Obviously, it is very self-explanatory. You can open an existing project, and you can also get one from version control. So you can just paste a repository link and it will clone it on your system, and you can start working on it. You can also debug an APK. You can import projects from other IDE, and you can also import Android code samples. So let's create a new project because today we will be building a basic layout and we will also learn how to handle button clicks. So after clicking create a new project, we get this project template selection screen. Here are a lot of templates available, but we were going to go with an empty activity. I really suggest go with an empty activity because if you don't know what you are selecting, it will get very messy. So let's select empty activity. We click next, and now we have our application name to choose. So the first app that we will make will be an birthday card app. So let's name it birthday card. And then we have our package name. All Android APKs have their package name. Since I am the user, it has my name in the middle and then the app name. And then we go have our save location where the file will be saved. And we also have the language selection. Now, for some people, it may be selected to Java. Please select to Kotlin because we will be doing with Kotlin. The strategies are with Kotlin. And then we have minimum SDK selection. Now, for minimum SDK, I suggest that you choose something that is not too new, yet not too old. Like I have selected Marshmallow because it is the oldest device in my home. I can test on it, but you guys can select other versions as well. But selecting Marshmallow will give me 84.9% of the devices. So let's see API level. Just a second. Okay. Okay, then we will click finish. Okay, I think, yeah, it is building. Now, after clicking finish, the Android Studio IDE, the actual thing opens up and it starts doing something on the background, naming Gradle Build. If you click here, you can see Gradle Build is running and it will show you the details. Basically, what is happening now, the App Studio is creating an environment for us so that we can develop the app much more easier. It helps in libraries that are needed, and it is finished. Depending on your machine, it will take some time, but after finishing, this is the screen we get. So what do we have? First of all, let's go through Android Studio a bit. Over to the left, you have your project files. The heading is Android, but you can just go here and click project, and you can
Snehashis,
see.
sorry to interrupt, but the
Ah,
screen is very small. Can you zoom in?
yeah, you mean the font size, na?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Font. Let's see. Okay, the font was changed by. I have to check in from here. Uh, it won't change from here probably. Source. Okay, let's do 16. I think that should be fine. Is this visible, Pradyum?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this should be fine, right? So let's apply it. Okay. So now you guys can see, I hope. I can't monitor the chat at the moment, so please notify me if anything pops up. So over here, as I was talking, you have your project files. So this is our birthday card app. So the files we are interested in are within the app folder, the src, main, and then these two, Java and Rails. Within Rails, this is actually stands for resources. This has all the resources that are needed for our app. And this is our main activity.kotlin file. And this is our layout file. This is the page that will be visible on your app. And this is the code from which the app will function. This is where all the logic comes from. Also in Android Studio, you can import images and vectors. Now, what are vector assets? Vector assets are icons that you can just select from Google's library. You can click here and you can just select an vector asset and you can import it, like account circle, add circle. If you click that, you can select its color. There are a lot of predefined color. You can just choose one from here as well, and you can click next and import. Now we don't need this, so we are not importing this right now. So let's get into building the birthday card app, shall we? Or do we have any questions so far? Can you check for any
No,
questions,
so
Pradyum?
far, so good. Let's start.
Okay. So if I am going too fast, you guys can tell me that I can go slow. So, but acha, let's talk about a few more things. We also have this Android manifest files. So in this Android manifest files, we have all the details for our application. Over here, like you can see, the application will have activities, intent filters, and it has other things as well, like permissions. Now this is a simple app and it doesn't require any permission for now, so there is no tag over here. But let's say if your app was using the camera or the external storage, then you have to specify it over there. You would have to write uses permission and you have to select the permission from here. Now since our app doesn't need one, we won't be using one. We're gonna do that. And we also have our build.gradle in app level. What is this Gradle file does? This Gradle
Snehashis,
file yeah,
sorry to interrupt again, but your
yeah,
screen is
sure.
not visible. There are some, yeah. So
Uh,
can you zoom
uh,
in while you are writing code? Can you zoom in?
yeah, I can increase the font size again. Uh, let's see, 24 should do this. Is this good enough?
Yeah, I guess.
Is it visible?
It's visible to me.
Okay, okay,
If
let me
there are
just quickly
any
check
more
the
queries, I'll
stream.
let you know.
No, okay, let me just quickly check the stream if it's visible
Yeah.
or not. Yeah, this should be pretty much visible. Yeah, this should do it. Okay, so as I was speaking, this is the Gradle file of our app, and over here you find all the dependencies that our app uses. Now, what are dependencies? The dependencies are the sources from which our app will fetch the libraries that we will be using. Now you can see there are Android X. Now this Android X is the compat library that is used for using modern Android mechanics, or what should I say, features in lower Android versions. It's just a port of the newer Android methods. And we also have these plugins. Now I'm going to do an interesting thing with this plugin in a bit. I will tell you when I do that. But let's get back to the activity now. So as you can see, this is our screen. Now, if you want a bit more context, you can select this and okay, this one, and click show system UI. Now you can see how your app will actually look in your phone. Now within this, you have your layout editor. This is the layout editor, by the way, the design tab. You get all your attributes, layout height, context, width, everything. You can rotate your item. You can select a lot of attributes. Then not, we will get into that. And we have our apps theme as well in another place, that is this values and themes.xml. As you can see, we are using a material day night theme with dark action bar. Now, a lot of the time you won't want this action bar because it is not very pretty. But if you are using a navigation activity, then you will need an action bar. So, any other thing you want to know about Android Studio, you can ask, because I will be beginning with coding now. Let's wait a few minutes. Let's wait a minute and see if any query pops up. Hmm. Thing is blurred. Can you zoom in? I think I have already. Shoes. Oh, what is a navigation activity? Okay. A navigation activity is the one with a navigation drawer. So there are the activities like where you have this hamburger menu. When you click it, an activity slides in and you can move to other activities from there. Basically, a navigation activity contains a lot of menu items, which on click you switch to a different fragment on your screen. Now this is a lot to take in together, so I won't get too much on navigation activity today. We will see. So any other questions? By the way, can you guys please clarify if it is still blurred or not? Let's see. Okay, no one's saying anything, so I think it's not blurred, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue. So let's start with the birthday card app that you have in your study gems. It is in probably in the third pathway where you start building with basic layouts. So basically what we are going to do is we are going to wish someone birthday over here using Android, using these layout files. So first of all, I am going to delete what we have here and start afresh. So we have a constant layout as our root. This is a view group, okay? In Android, there are view groups and views. Basically, a view group holds in child views that you use to interact with your user as well as display content. So first of all, we will need an text view that will wish someone happy birthday. So what we're going to do is from this view palette, we're going to select text view and drag and drop it right here, just like that. It's really fun. You will get into it. So after placing this, you see there is an error popping up here that says the view is not constant. It has only designated position, so it will jump to 0, 0. So it is an error. We have to fix it. So we want to address someone in the top, and we'll write who it is, who the wish is from over here. So let's constrain it. How we will constrain it? We will click this slider, drag it, and place it here. So it is now constrained to the top of the parent activity. The parent activity, the screen. And we'll also drag this and take it to the left. Now it is constrained over here. That means it won't move from here. Now this doesn't look good. We need to add some margin. So when we click this, we get this view. We can select it. You can select this from drop down menu, and I'm going to give it a 16 margin from on both top and left. This is what we get. Now the text says text view. We don't want it. We want to say happy birthday. So as you can see, there is this text field in declared attributes that says text view. So when I click it and type happy birthday and press enter, you see the text changed. Now it is a bit small and hard to read. We want to change the size of the text. Now as you can see, there is no text size option over here, but it is at the very bottom. But you don't want to do that all the time, right? So you want to find a size. So you can just click on this search bar by clicking this and write size. And you can see all the attributes with a size in it pops up. So the default text size over here is 14 SB. So you just click here and you have some predefined even values that you can use. So we will use 36 SB. As you can see, it is very big now. Now we don't only wish happy birthday, we have to say who are we wishing from, right? So we'll need another text view. So we'll do the same thing again. We'll drag a text view, leave it here, provide the constraints, give them a margin, provide who it is from. So let's say from DSC. And we want to change the font size. So we go here, type size, select the text size to 36 SP. Now it looks a bit like a card, right? But it's something is still missing. Okay, just a second. Anything? Okay, yeah. Just notify me on any questions. Okay, I can't monitor the chat. So we want image over here, right? This looks very dull. So how do we import an image in an app? It's pretty simple actually. So I am going to minimize. I am going to make this a bit small, my activity. I'm going to open the image that I have saved on my computer. So we are going to use this image, okay? How do we put this in this? It's quite simple. You have to go to your drawable folder. Every image that you use in your app is a drawable. So I can just drag and drop this image. I can click it, drag it to my drawable and release it. And it says move file. You can just, yeah, you can just, and we have the file over here. Now we have to use this file obviously, right? So like text views, we have image views as well. Remember, everything in a Android in the layout works with views, everything. So this is actually the text view is actually a child class of the class view, and for images we have image view. So you can see in common we have an image view here. We can drag and drop it here just like the previous one. Now it wants me to pick a resource, that is the which image will be there, And as you can see, we imported that image. We can just click on the Android party resource file and click OK. And it is there. Now it is a bit out of order, so it's hard to say where it will go. So we will just select this, constrain it to the top as well as to the bottom, to the right and to the left. Now something is still not right. This thing is not cropped properly. So what we will do? So to fix that, you can just go to your attributes, search for scale, the first one that pops up, scale type. You can select from this drop down menu and you can click center crop. And as you can see, it fills the screen. Now we have a problem here. As you can see, our text views are no more visible. So how do we fix that? What you want to do is select your image view and drag it at the top, and now it is visible. Remember the stacking happens in a reverse order, so the ones at the bottom are visible and the ones at the top are behind the other ones. Now I also want to mention something that is a practice, that is when you are using these views, they are defined, they have some IDs with them. As you can see, this ID image view, text view, it has an ID text view. The other text view has an ID text view too. So it is a better practice to give them a proper ID, so you can reference them when you are writing your code. If you want to change the text or anything with the view, you should be able to address it, and remembering them with text view 1, 2, 3 is a very bad practice. You don't want to do that. So I will just rename this to birthday message. Click refactor. So if you have already used it somewhere, it will automatically fix that there. And there is text view 2. It is from DSC. So we will write from Wisher, press enter and refactor as well. And this image view, we can call it, what do we call it? Cake. Just call it cake. It's not a very good name, but it's fine. Also, let's mention something else, that is, we just don't want to say happy birthday and not mention their name. So whom are we wishing birthday today? So as it happens, one of our core team member, Agnivesh, it's his birthday today. So we are going to wish him. So let's change the text to happy birthday, Agnivesh. And it goes in. Now, as you can see, one thing happened. That is, this thing is overlapping this. How do we fix that? So to do that, I would like to drag it here. And the width, we will say match constraint. Okay. And now it matches just fine. And it is from DS, it's fine. And to be honest, that's pretty much it. Your app is ready. Now, if you run this app, I have an emulator set up already. So if I run this app, it will start a virtual device on my system. Now, but I'm gonna do it on a virtual device. I won't be able to show it. And my device is up and running, and here's Gradle Build running. So give it a moment. It will resources. And there it is. There is our app, birthday card, and it says Happy Birthday Agnivesh from DSC. Isn't it so? So any questions so far? I know I speed through it a lot, but I would like to answer your questions. Any questions? Okay, I don't see any questions popping up. The chat is relatively not active today. Okay, you guys want me to use the magnifier, right? Okay, sure. Let me just set those two things up. Yeah. And how big do you guys want it? 150% should be fine. So let's see. The magnifier is on as you guys wanted. And there it is. I don't think Agnivesh is in the chat right now. Okay, someone just send him a screenshot. We will just send him this app. That will be better. So, is there any other any questions? No. So, as there are no other questions, should we move on to the next app?
Yes,
I think we will.
let's
I
move on.
think we should. I think let's move on.
Yeah.
So, I am going to close this app. Close this facilitator. This magnifier is going to look very awkward anyway. So, I'm going to close this project. Just click File, and okay, I myself can't see because of the magnifier, and click Close Project. So the next thing we're going to do is make an dice roller app. We are going to go the way we started again. Gonna click create new project, click empty activity, click next. Okay, let me just make these views. That's fine. And we have all our. We just need to change the name to dice roller. The language is Kotlin, minimum Sdk 23. I am using 23 and click finish. Again, it will update some things. It will compile the resources, and it is compiled actually. It is pretty fast when you have already compiled it once. So we again have our main activity that is empty. Let's enable the system UI. It looks better with it. We're going to delete this hello world. And I'm going to switch from Android to project files. Okay, not packages, sorry. Project. I'm going to go into this. I like it is like this way. You can have any other way. You can just use the default Android view as well, but I like using the layout, drawable, and my Java folder spread out. So as you can see, like other programming languages, this thing is called main activity, but don't confuse it to be the starting activity all the time. You can always change it from an Android manifest file. As you can see, there is an intent folder named Android Action Main and Android Category Launcher. So if you just add this intent filter to any other activity, provided your app has multiple activities, then it will start from that activity only. So let's start by building the UI first. So in this part, we will be handling button clicks. So we will need a button. And as you can see, there is a button in our palette. We're going to drag it here. And it is there. So we are going to constrain it. To constrain in the middle, you just constrain to both the sides and set both to 0 or same value. I prefer setting it to 0. So that way it will be much more adaptive. And now we need an image view for the dice. Now we need some dice images for that, right? So as per the code lab, I have already downloaded the dice images. Here are they. We're going to import them here. So we're going to click over here. So let's select all of them, click it, and we go there. So, and you want to move the word files, we click refactor, and we have all the images that we need. Dice 1, dice 2, dice 3, maximize this, dice 6, all of them are here. So it's fine, right? Let's get back to main activity. Okay, I'm going to disable this. Okay, no, not yet. So let's drag in an image view. We're going to select dice 1 for now. Well, let's see. and we have this is really big, right? So how do we fix it? To fix it, you go here in the declared attributes, select layout width, and let's give it a width of 160 dp and a height of 200 maybe. Yeah, this is much more better, right? So now we are going to constrain this within the view. Remember, when you are using constraint layout, it is very important to constrain the view, otherwise your app won't compile. We have to mention at least one X and Y constraint, that is one horizontal and vertical constraint. So this is only horizontally constrained. We need to constrain it vertically as well. So I'm going to give this thing here, and I'm going to also going to no, let's leave this to that. Okay, I am going to constrain it to the bottom as well. So now this is in the center, but the button is overlapping it. How do we fix it? So we can just drag it around. It's really intuitive, but I will do this. I will select this constraint and will constrain it to the bottom of this, and now it is like, and now it is constrained to the bottom of the dice. So if I move the dice around, the button will move with it as well. As you can see, the button is moving. I can do this. So we don't obviously want to do that. So we'll just reset this, and same for the button. These are the bias, horizontal and vertical bias. They just define how much they will be in favor of which direction. But the button still looks a bit too close to a dice, right? So we can always provide a margin. I'm going to provide a margin of 8 dp. Okay, let me quickly check. Okay. Chalo. So it's left at 8, and now the layout is pretty much fine. Now I want to change this button text to roll because we will be rolling a dice, right? So we will go here at the text, it is saying button, and we're going to say roll. As you can see, it changed. Also, I want to change the ID, so I am going to name this ID roll button, and we're going to refactor it so that no errors occur. Same for the image view. I want to give the ID to the image view dice image. Center, refactor, and it is done. So now our layout is ready. Now what we want to do is code the actual logic that will change the dice, right? So we go back to our main activity. I'm going to bring it close, and I am going to turn the magnifier off because it will look wrong right now. Okay, so now we are in the code editor. As you can see, there is a main activity that is extending the app compat activity. Compat means compatibility, and that means it is compatible with lower versions of Android as well. And we get this overridden function called Oncreate. Now, what is this Oncreate? This Oncreate function is called every time the app's activity is created. Actually, it is very self-explanatory. And we have a super.onCreate, that is its parent class, that it will perform the functions that it is supposed to, and then let us do our job with it. Okay, any questions so far? I keep asking for questions, but you guys are too shy to ask any questions. That is not fun. Any question? No questions. Let's see. So for a dice roller, we will need a random function that will give us a number between 1 to 6. And for that, we can use a class. You can create a dice class over here real quick, give it a function roll, but it is not worth it to be honest. So we are going to do it like this only. So for addressing these views, we need to declare them first. So this one is roll button. Now if I go and start writing roll button, nothing happens. To do that, you have to write val. In Kotlin, we have val and vad. By val means the value cannot be mere. Is not it, when the variable is set val, that means it is not mutable, and when it is var, we can mutate the value. It is like declaring a variable final in Java. So we write val button, and we also want to specify the type of it as button, and we will write find view by ID. It says okay, one widget is needed, so we need to press alt enter. Also, one thing we have to enable auto import, I think. So we write the ID of the find view by ID. So ID is r dot id dot, this thing was called roll button, I think. No, yes, so we'll call this roll button. Now it is saying type expected. We can enable the type here as well, but it is not necessary, so you can just delete this, and that way we have a reference to this button. Now I am going to be honest, this process is very hectic. Now there are only 2 views in our app, so it is not very problem to us, but normally there will be a lot more views in our app. There will be images, there will be text views, there will be a lot of things, so you have to address them all over here if you are using this way. Now this was the old way actually. Now how do we address it without doing this? So do that. I am going to give you a little tip. You can just go into your build.gradle, and from this plugins section, I am talking about our app level build.gradle. Okay, so from a plugins section, if we go here and write another plugin, that is ID Kotlin Android extensions. After writing this, you see this message say Gradle files have been changed. So you just click on sync now, and now this library has been imported. So if I go back to my main activity, instead of writing this button thing, I can directly go and write roll button, and this will auto import a function. Some things, okay, this thing is a redundant import, we can delete it. So we're at roll button, and just like that it is referenced. You don't need to write find view by ID a lot of times. Those people who have worked with Android before know how annoying that find view by that lines are, because if you just add any other thing in your app and you expect it to work just out of the box, it won't happen. You have to write find view by ID, the ID, and it will, then you can use it. Also you have to give a name to it, so you can just give a proper name to your views ID and just address it like that. So what we are going to do is we need to set a listener. Now what is a listener? A listener is a class, that class or object to be honest. It will hear for button clicks and will perform my action when we click the button. So I have already written roll button. Now I will write dot set on click listener. Now I don't have to write the full thing. This is also a very great thing about Android Studio. You get code completions. Now there are a lot of options there. You want to use the first one, the one with the third brackets. That means you're using a lambda expression. That is a Kotlin thing again. So you click set on click listener and you press enter. You see this it appear here, and that is a type view. Basically what happens is you can declare an on click listener object and attach it to anything, but this thing does it on the fly. So you are creating an on click listener within that function only. That's why it is giving me a default name of the view, that is it. You can give this view any other name, like our view, and give an arrow sign, and it will work like that. But since we won't be using this view, we don't need it. We're gonna delete it. So after setting the on-click listener, we need to generate a random number, from 1 to 6 and set the value of set this image according to that, right? How do we do that? So first of all, we will get the random number. So to do that, we will do val random. Let's call it random number equals to you can write 1 dot 6 dot random. Now I did a lot of things over there. Don't panic. What this does is, first of all, this is a range 1.1 to 6. This means it will go by a increment of one value. So this 1.6 will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks very simple in Kotlin, but if you have to do it in another language, you have to do other stuff. And dot random means from this range of numbers, you get a random number, right? So now this random number is stored in our random number variable, and we want to set a image according to that number we got. How do we do that? So for that, we have to address this image view, that is the dice image. Now, if we were not using the Kotlin Android extensions plugin, then we have to write a find view by ID line again, but we don't. So you can just write dice image dot set image set image set actually drawable resource set image resource. Okay, just a second, guys, give me a second. I need to check a thing because I think one thing is appreciated. Guys, just a second. I have okay. So we are going to do sorry, I just wrote a wrong one there. So we are going to click set image resource. Now this function takes an integer type resource ID. That is the ID of these. That is dice1, dice2, dice. This is the file name. So if to address them, we can write r dot drawable dot dice123. But we don't really know which number is a random number, right? So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to use a function here named when. We're going to pass the random number here, and we're going to open a third bracket. I know it looks very confusing right now. Bear with me a minute. I'm going to explain it in a moment. So when it is 1, we return r dot drawable dot dice1. When it is 2, r dot drawable dot dice2. When it is 3, r dot drawable dot dice3. When it is 4, r dot drawable dot dice4. When it is 5, r dot drawable dot dice5. And when it is 6, we need to give the dice 6, but since this is a declaration part, so so this thing has to be exhaustive. So we must provide else and write r dot drawable dot dice 6. So a lot of thing happened here. What happened? Let me explain. So with the dice image view, I am calling a function named setImageResource. Now what this function does, it takes the ID of your drawable resource and sets that image to the image view you are pointing at. Now, what is this when thing? So in Java, we had switch cases, right? In Java, C, C++, we all have switch cases. This is something like switch cases, but on steroids. How? Because with when, you don't have to write break every time. Also, you can return you can write this in anywhere and just get a value. And this else part is like the default part. Like if none of these values match, it will return this. In our case, it can either be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. So we write the 6 part in else part. So this should work, right, guys? Let's find out. Should we run this? Let's run this. It is installing, and here we have our Diceroller app. Now if I click on roll, you see that image changed. Silk roll. Now we got a 6. Okay, we are lucky. We got it in a third try. And we again got 5. We get 2. So like this, you can see we get random numbers and the image is set like that. Now we get a lot of ones. We are really unlucky, I think. So that is pretty much it. Now I would really like to answer some questions from you guys. Please ask some questions because I know you guys have some questions, but just shy to ask. So shoot. Anything you guys want to know? I would like to hear you. Okay, okay, that was from one of my apps that I had installed here. Never mind. So, questions. Do you have any? That's pretty much it, right? Have anything else to cover for today?
Yeah, if there are no questions, then let's conclude.
Uh, okay, so let's conclude this. You guys are so shy. That is not easy for us, seriously. Because we do have no other way to verify that you guys have understood what we said.
Maybe they have understood all. You were explaining so nicely.
Okay, that will be very nice. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now. And let's wait a few minutes, see if someone has anything to say, and then we will conclude the session.
Okay.
Okay, so so I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, so let's not drag this any longer. I don't think anyone has anything to say.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining in. I
Uh,
hope you are advancing on your tracks. And thank you, DSCCIEM. It was
yeah,
great
it was a
to,
pleasure. It was a
yeah,
pleasure from our side too.
collaborate with you.
Yeah, so I hope you
If
guys
there
all
are
the
any
best.
queries in your tracks, then you can ask Snehashis. He's always
You
ready to
can
answer.
also you can also
Yeah.
ask Pradyum as well. He is your facilitator, and let's hope everyone completes the tracks.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for joining in.
Yeah. So thanks, guys. Yeah, Dipanjan, thanks. Thanks for joining in, and good night to everyone. So we will see you on the next one. Peace.